Now, the Reserve Bank, I think they stunned many economists and households yesterday by lifting the cash rate by 0.25% again to 3.85%. Now, this is the 11th increase in the past 12 months, the highest cash rate we've seen in this country for 10 years. And it means, for example, if you've got a $600,000 mortgage, and I'm not telling anyone who's got a mortgage anything new here, you'll see and will have seen monthly repayments rise again by $96. That amounts to a $1,300 increase on repayments since this time last year. How can anybody, with inflation like it is and the cost of living going through the roof, cope with that? RateCity Director of Research, Sally Tindall, joins me now in the studio. I mean, that is a big, painful increase for anybody, regardless of income.
Oh, well, imagine getting an unexpected trip to the dentist, Steve, and you get hit with a $1,000 bill, or you get a burst hot water system, you've got to replace that, that's a $1,000 bill. This is well over $1,000 for that $600,000 mortgage holder every single month that they have to pay for the foreseeable future, with the RBA saying, well, there could even be more rate hikes to come. It's an extortionate amount of money. Now, Australians have done a fantastic job up to this point of just trying to make ends meet and balancing the budget. But this 11th hike could be the straw that broke the camel's back for some families.
You surprised yesterday?
Look, I was surprised. I did think that they would pause. Last month, they wanted more time on their side to collect data to see how households are holding up. They know as much as we know that there's a 2 to 3 month lag on monetary policy. When they hike the cash rate, it takes 2 to 3 months for that extra money to come out of people's back pockets. So I would have thought that they would pause for an extra month, particularly because inflation is coming down. That said, you know, at 7% in the last quarterly data that we got, it is, you know, it's still way too high. It's more than double where it needs to be. And their concern is that inflation on services isn't coming down, that it's sticking.
It's almost, I mean, I thought yesterday when I was sitting there watching at 2:30 the result come out, it was almost worse that they paused last time and then went again, because so many people thought, oh, you beauty, that's it, we're going to have a bit of a break for a while. You know, everybody, I think, bar the Commonwealth Bank, said that was going to happen. And then, bang, it goes up again. Have the banks been quick to pass it on like they normally do?
No, we've only heard from NAB at this point in time. They are passing it on in full to their variable borrowers. Absolutely no surprise. We expect the other banks will do the same in the hours ahead, maybe tomorrow. But with savings accounts, they have stepped forward. They are passing that full hike on to both of their key savings accounts for new customers and existing customers. So that's actually good to see.
So we're going to potentially have another 0.25% rise in the US tonight. It seems that I get a sense the Reserve Bank wanted to perhaps play good guy, which is what they did last
month.
Then they realised, no, the gap between inflation and where we are with the cash rate is too wide.
Yep.
And so, you know, what are we going to do? So we're going to have to jack it up again. Do you think they'll go again?
Oh, look, they definitely left that card on the table, that's for certain. In the statement, it said further tightening may be needed. ANZ is forecasting another hike in August. If someone with a mortgage, I would be saying plan for at least one more hike, if not two, just to be prudent. When it comes to paying down your mortgage and you know, staying in the black, it's better to be over-prepared than under.
We talk about that $600,000 mortgage, but as you know, I mean, we're sitting here in Sydney. We've got a lot of people watching us in, you know, Melbourne, Brisbane. There's plenty of people with bigger mortgages than $600,000.
Absolutely. On $1 million mortgage at the start of the hikes, those customers are paying $2,117, if I remember correctly, every single month. That's extra on their mortgage every single month. And as you say, $1 million mortgage is not uncommon in Sydney and Melbourne, particularly those people that bought at and near the peak, and those people that borrowed every last cent as they possibly could from the bank when rates were at record lows. They're the ones that are really feeling the heat at the moment.
Are the non-bank lenders still cheaper?
They are. They've got, we've seen this interesting turn actually, Steve. Since the rate hikes began, we've seen that a lot of those smaller banks are taking the place of the lowest cost lenders. Why? Because the non-bank lenders rely largely on wholesale funding costs. banks have access to deposits, and deposits in this environment where wholesale funding costs have gone through the roof are suddenly looking like an attractive source to fund home loans. And so we've got banks such as the Mutual offering some of those cracking rates. There's still a few non-bank lenders in there as well. At this point in time, we've got 8 lenders on our database still offering variable rates under 5%, but I have to say that's before this rate hike. We think they'll all move up above 5% in a couple of weeks' time.
Advice is always shop around. Sally Tindall from RateCity, always great to see you.